Does anyone know who's the most popular animal on the planet, mammal on the planet? Pandas. Pandas, close, but no. Dogs, no. Humans, no. We don't win votes for mammals. It's the tiger. The tiger, year in and year out, turns out to be the most popular mammal on the planet. And tigers are on the brink, okay? They functionally don't serve a lot of ecosystem services where they're found because there's so few tigers. We are responsible for the fact that they're at the edge of extinction. Tiger numbers have dwindled along with their habitat. So prehistorically, there were over 100,000 tigers. By the year 1970, we had 40% of their habitat left, and we had less than 40,000 tigers left. As habitat declined and the number of tigers declined, tigers started going extinct in populations around the world. The 40s, they were extinct in Bali. In the 70s, extinct in Central Asia. In the 1980s, they were extinct in Java. And in the 1990s, they were extinct in South China. Now there are 3,200 tigers left. This is the historic range of the tiger. They've lost 93% of their historic range. This is their present range today. Now what does this look like? A mosaic, a patchwork of populations. And in fact, that's what it is. So that's what I want to tell you a little bit about. So if you'll note, so the crop and pasture again is shown in this magenta color, and green is the present range of tigers. Now I'm going to fade away the present range, and what you'll see, like look at up there in Siberia, basically where we don't have crops and pastures, tigers can persist. And it's even more extreme when we think about human population density. So darker colors here, the darker blue is high human density. And lighter colors are lighter human densities. So you can see right there in northern India, enormous population density. In China, enormous population density. And as we fade the present range of tigers out, again, what you see are that tigers can persist where humans and their croplands are not. So protected areas are clearly important for tiger populations. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work through what we know about these separate populations. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about genetic diversity. I'm going to show you a series of circles connected by lines. The circles are scaled by the numbers of individuals we sampled for their genetic diversity. And based on this particular marker we're using, this kind of sequence that we're using, what you'll see is that some of these tigers have no genetic variation that we know about, and others have much more. Siberian tigers are found in remote areas of Siberia, obviously, and there are only a few hundred individuals left. They're almost all identical. They are very distant, these Siberian tigers, and I'll point out to you, every one of these tigers I mentioned, you might have heard of all of these, they're all the same species, but they're managed differently. The Indo-Chinese tiger, this tiger prefers rolling hills and forested habitat. The Malayan tiger and the Sumatran tiger, a little bit more diverse, right? You'll see the connections, the lines here show how divergent these particular groups of these populations are from each other. The Sumatran and Malayan tiger are small animals, and instead of living on large prey like the wild boar, they live on tiny animals that are in dense tropical forest. They look slightly different, and they have different habitats adapted for different environments. And then the Bengal tiger is more diverse in terms of its genetic diversity than the rest of these tigers, and yet there's only 11% of Indian tiger range remaining. So India, in spite of this incredible human population density, has managed to preserve a lot of prehistoric genetic diversity of the Bengal tiger. Now I'll point out this Bengal tiger extends from open grasslands to forests. It relies almost entirely on deer, and some of them, the ones in the center here, in between Indochina and Bengal, These animals live in mangrove forests right on the edge of the coast. They're incredibly good swimmers, and they move from mangrove forest to mangrove forest in their hunting. So they all have different adaptations, and yet they're separate from each other. What about global change? I want to put that question in your head. So let's go to tigers and think about, how do we rescue tiger genetic diversity? How do we make sure that these tigers are not headed for their own independent extinction event? And in fact, we've lost many tiger populations I haven't described to you. I showed you the loss of the Javan tiger, the Bali tiger, the Caspian tiger we've lost. But these tigers that we have presently are in just a few numbers. The largest number of tigers are in India, just over 1,000. Everywhere else, they're just a few hundred individuals, interbreeding with each other and all the problems that happened with that. So envision each one of these populations as distinct and separate and with limited genetic variation. Independently, they're all headed for extinction. So a bold proposal that has come from some genetic modeling studies we've done in my lab suggests, why not try and merge individuals across these populations? Gosh, this is a radical idea. And why? Because these populations now are managed as completely separate entities. The Bengal tiger is an Indian tiger. The Malayan tiger is a Malaysian tiger. The Siberian tiger, recently an individual created an international incident when it swam across a river into China. They're iconic images of these countries. It's a difficult thing to think about how we would do this. But there are ways. Assisted reproduction, there are ways to merge the genetic diversity of these populations. We can never hope to recover the geographic range of the previous tigers. You saw what human density is like, and you saw how we've transformed the habitats. But we could inject diversity into the populations we have remaining.